Hey, gang, there are so many important issues to discuss in today's political, cultural, and economic climate, and I can't discuss them all here. In fact, YouTube and big tech won't let me talk about it all here. And that's why I have exclusive, uncensored live streams on Monday nights to cover everything. On Monday nights, I share all my thoughts and answer your questions in an in-depth, casual format that prepares you for this upcoming election with the truth. Today, I want to show you a quick clip from a recent stream that I hope will help you think clearly about these important issues, as well as encourage you to join our movement. Join an upcoming exclusive live stream, and I'll answer your questions by clicking the link in the description below and joining our community of courageous patriots building a parallel economy. I look forward to seeing you over there.
Yeah, we'll keep going tonight and get through these. So Brian B says, Dr. Steve, did you see Tucker Carlson's recent video on how bad it's going to get? And if so, what do you think?
I have not. Oh, wait a minute now. Maybe I did. I'm trying to think now. I don't know if that was a recent video. I think, wasn't he talking somewhere? He was giving a speech, and he basically said whatever we thought was going to happen in the 2024 election is not what's going to happen. We don't know what it is, but it's not going to. I think if that's what you're referring to. Yeah. I mean, things are that bad. They really are. They're worse. right. That's our what we call our Stockdale principle that we live by. The Stockdale, named after Admiral James Stockdale, who's the highest decorated veteran and officer that was a prisoner of war in Vietnam. And he said, in order to survive very harrowing times, you have to have an absolutely honest, sober assessment of the dire nature you face, and you can never lose hope that you're going to prevail. I mean, that's the Lord of the Rings. It's the entire three book series of the Lord of the Rings. It's worse than you thought, and it's more hopeful than you can ever imagine. And what Tucker focused on there is it's worse than you think. This is really bad, and he's right. These people are they're horrid. These are horrifying people, because they see the world solely in terms of power and control and manipulation. And because they're technocrats, and technology by definition controls. And when they only see you in terms of the capacity they have to control you or not, you lose your personhood to them. You become an obstacle to their control and to their power. And obstacles are supposed to be eliminated. That's what technology does. It eliminates obstacles. So they're horrible. Absolutely horrible. But again, the good news is they don't have the heart and the soul of the people. The people are pushing back like never before. And we're seeing that happen everywhere, right? Javier Milei in Argentina. We just saw in what's the South Carolina city? I've got Charlottesville in my head. Charleston, thank you. Just have their first Republican mayor in over 130 years, I think since 1870. So the people are pushing back in a city, in a major city in the country. So it's amazing stuff.
Well, I always think about 2020. Who could possibly have guessed COVID?
Yeah, exactly.
That came out of nowhere.
It did.
And look what was revealed because of it.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's good. Again, that's what every time. The beauty of the network society, of how we're relating right now, not by virtue of proximity, but by virtue of our access to instant digital information via the internet. The very fact that we have that pretty much guarantees they're not going to be able to get away with a lot. Even China has to deal with this. Even Chinese officials. Zhang Weiwei is a very fascinating, very pro regime Chinese scholar, who points out that even the Chinese regime, has to placate natural concerns of actions it takes with a kind of democratic forum. They do it more at the provincial levels, the regional levels. Keep in mind, if you're president over a province in China, you're president, if you're a governor over a province, you're governor of over 300 million people. I mean, China's just gigantic, and then they have basically seven, if I recall, major provincial leaders who then every 4 years or 8 years get together, and one of them is chosen to be the emperor, to be the president over the entire nation. apparently there is a lot of compromise with the people, particularly at provincial levels, just because they know so much. You can't hide things anymore from them.
But first, gang, I gotta tell you, I was utterly shocked when I was recently shown just how easy it is to access the deed to my house, and not just access it, but change it. I mean, if you don't know, the deed to your home is the only document that proves you own it. But the problem is that the deeds to all our homes are now online, and criminals are free to find our deeds, forge our signatures, refile as the new owner of our homes, take out tons of loans using our home's equity, and then stick us with the debt. And by the way, if you think homeowners insurance is going to bail you out, you got another thing coming. But that's where our good friends over at Home Title Lock come in. Gang, they're absolutely amazing. Home Title Lock gives you the peace of mind that the deed to your home is absolutely and completely protected. Click on that link below right now and use promo code Turley Talks. And all you have to do is enter your address for your no obligation home title scan to see if you've already been a victim of deed theft. I mean, that's $100 value, absolutely and totally free if you use my promo code Turley Talks. Gang, don't wait for the worst to happen only to regret that you didn't do something about it when you could have. Click on that link below right now and secure your home today.
This next question is from Ahmed. I think, Ahmed, you might be new. I'd love to know. But he says, do you categorize MAGA as a Christian Zionist movement or as Christian nationalism?
Oh, that's a great question. No, I would see it as a Christian nationalist movement with Zionists in it, as it were. So a Zionist, the idea that Israel has a special a right and to the land that they are in right now. Many Christians would affirm that, particularly those who come from what's called a dispensational theology that believes that land always forever belongs to Israel, and anybody else there is an invader, basically, like the Canaanites in effect. And there are certainly full MAGA members who ascribe to that, but there are plenty. I know plenty who don't. And so I would see it as a Christian nationalist movement more than anything, more than a Christian Zionist movement. That it's, though maybe very prevalent and very popular, is not the defining characteristic.
Lauren Singe says, what do you think about RFK Jr.'s run for president? We haven't talked about him in a while.
Yeah, he's receded a little bit in the headlines. He hasn't gotten into too much controversy as of yet, apart from walking barefoot down the aisle of the first class of one of the planes he was flying on. Everyone thought that was a little weird, but we'll see. He seems to be lying low, but ironically is polling higher than he ever has because of his independent status. And a lot of independents just right now would vote for him just on that basis. We'll see. What usually independents end up losing the percentage that they get. Right now, it's all the polls show it's helping Trump. There was a time where it looked like RFK was pulling support away from Trump, but it looks like he's actually pulling more support away from disaffected Biden voters. Same with Cornel West. So it'll be very interesting to see how that all plays itself out. But I don't know. Again, I'm still reserving judgment on RFK. I thought at the beginning I really liked his message of, medical autonomy when it came certainly to vaccines. He applies it to abortion in a way that obviously I don't care for. But he's actually taking the Dobbs position as the basic default position, which is the majority position of most people in the country, and that's anything after the first 15 weeks is done. That's, by the way, that's the norm in Europe. They generally don't allow second and third trimester abortions. So at least he's, for me, I look at things in terms of trajectories. At least he's moving in the right direction rather than going just full radical on that issue. We'll have to see. I mean, a lot of his past videos are coming back when he was pretty radical leftist. Kind of like what's happening a bit with Vivek. So we'll have to see how. Right now, it doesn't seem like anybody is that worried about him. Joe Biden has his hands full, believe it or not, even just with this nomination process, because it looks like he's not going to be on the New Hampshire ballot. The DNC has refused to recognize New Hampshire as a legitimate as it's the first what do you call it? Why am my brain starts leaving at the end of the night? But the first, what? Help me, guys! It's New Hampshire.
I was looking at questions. What are we talking about?
New Hampshire is the very first. Primary. Thank you. I had it in my head. There you go. Very first primary. They turned South Carolina. The Democrats wanted South Carolina to be the first primary because Joe Biden is the most popular in South Carolina, and he lost. If I recall, he lost New Hampshire he was in 5th place back in 2020. So they're very nervous about him coming behind the other two, Marianne Williamson and the other fellow, the representative that's running against him for the Democratic nomination. But New Hampshire has in their state law that they have to be the very first primary. So they moved it in front of South Carolina, and then the DNC pushed back against that and said, okay, well, then we're not recognizing you as a legitimate primary. And New Hampshire said, well, too bad, we're still holding it. So RFK and two other, not RFK because he's independent now, Marianne Williamson and the other fellow, their names are on the ballot there, but Joe Biden has to be a write-in. So he may lose the very first primary, New Hampshire, which is good. I mean, talk about embarrassment, so we'll see what happens with him. Trump doesn't seem worried at all. As a matter of fact, I think he's even trying to plot how we could bring in the populist left under the fold of a broad populist movement to push back against the establishment, of which RFK is a very fierce critic. I hope you enjoyed that clip of my Monday night Insiders Club live stream. Join us live next week by clicking on the link in the description below and joining the coalition of patriots worldwide building a parallel economy to return to our roots of faith, family, and freedom. Click below right now.